DeWitt! Mr. DeWitt! Bring us the curve and wipe away the debt!
Now won't you listen, dearie, while I say, how can you tell me that you're going away? Don't say that we must part. Don't break my aching heart. You know I've loved you truly many years. I love you night and day.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the 107th episode of the Retrotopia podcast. My name is Alan, and today we're taking you on a journey to the skies as we talk about BioShock Infinite, the third in the BioShock series, which, through no machinations of our own, we seem to be doing about a year on from covering the first one. And you may ask why we've done the first and the third and not the second. And the truth is, we don't know. We are just making this up as we go along. But this is a great game. You're going to hear all about it later on. And if you do want to just get into the game chat, then you're probably going to want to open up a tear and skip ahead to about 25 minutes down the road, and you'll get into the game chat with us. But we encourage you to stick around because our intros are fun. We talk to our Patreons, we play some games, and it's generally a good time. That said, I do need to get our plugs out of the way before we get into all of that. So linktree/Retrotopia, that's linktr.ee/Retrotopia, is where you can find all things Retrotopia, including all of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, X, all of that stuff. You can find our Dashery or TeePublic page where you can find all of our Retrotopia merchandise, which is really cool. I suggest you go and check it out. Get yourself a nice hat, a t-shirt. You know how it works. I don't need to explain this to you. You can also find links to our Discord, which, again, we very highly encourage you to come and join because we love our Discord. It's full of awesome, awesome people, and it's just a great place to come and have a chat about literally anything that interests you. It's not just games. TV, comics, all sorts goes on in there. It's a real good time. Come and join the party. You can also find links to our Patreon, and our Patreon is free to join at the basic level. And you get access to most, but not all, of our bonus content. You can listen to our quick play mini review series, and you can listen to our Retro Bites. That's the one. Brian and Joe over there talk just generally about news and gaming and various topics centered around gaming, and you can get access to that 15 whole days early with an extra bonus topic tacked on to the end there. And you get to comment, you get to vote in polls, you get to talk about the game of the week and all of that good stuff. We do also have a paid tier, which for $2 gets you access to all of the above, as well as the ability to select a game for our quick play series and throw it at a host of your choice, punish or reward as you see fit. And you also get access to our New Game Plus series, which is kind of a series centered around more modern games that we've been playing because, this is a retro gaming show, so we don't often get to talk about modern games. That being said, it's not just that. Sam covered the Dragon Quest manga at some point in the archives there as well, so it's kind of evolved into a little bit of whatever we feel like talking about. Speaking of whatever we feel like talking about, let's go and see what some of you guys wanted to talk about this week in our little section called the 9-Bit Banter Box, which is what happens when culture meets elegance. Alrighty then, let's see what we've got to deal with today. So first up on the Banter Box is Brother Retro, who says, Alan, I just became a millionaire and I'm giving you and your family an all-expense-paid trip to the States for 2 weeks. What are your plans? Where you going? P.S. The only stipulation is that you have to stop by Virginia for a glass of bourbon with your good old buddy Brother Retro. Well, that's literally first stop, Brother Retro. I am coming to Virginia and I am having that glass of bourbon because that sounds like a good time. We can sit out on a deck. Do you have a deck? If you have a deck, we'll sit out on the deck and we'll drink a bourbon together. And that sounds like a good time. What else am I going to do in America? I suppose, a lot of it's kind of cliched. I would probably see the Grand Canyon because that looks amazing in pictures. You guys got a lot of really nice national parks out there, so I think we'd like to check out some of those. My wife has said that she likes the look of, is it Yosemite Park? Yosemite Park out there. That looks really beautiful. For me, though, I am very interested in anywhere that I can get some good food. I've always kind of wanted a steak from Texas because I feel like that's one of the places that you go for a good steak. In my head, they're like big fucking dinosaur steaks, like off the Flintstones. And anywhere like with that good old Southern cooking, like, I don't know, New Orleans or something, where you have the big sort of seafood cookouts and things like that. That sounds like a good time. Obviously Disney. I take my little one to Disney because you've got to do that, haven't you? You've got to take the little one to Disney. And you know what the number one most important place that I am going to go to in America is? I am going to go to Wisconsin, because not only is it full of cheese, as far as I'm aware, it's also full of Sam. So I'm going to go to Wisconsin to visit my good friend Sam. We're going to call Brian down from up north to come and join us. And we're finally going to get together and have that Retrotopia, I say weekender. It would probably take the full 2 weeks, actually. We would tear it up, play some games, and just generally have a good time. So that's what I do. Thank you, Brother Retro. The Big Deal says, Dear Alan, full English breakfast, what the fuck? Please explain. The Big Deal, this requires zero explanation, but I'm going to do it anyway. A full English breakfast is the king of breakfast. It is a protein-rich plate full of not only all of your delicious meats, but all of your delicious eggs, beans, also. I mean, it is literally a meal that caters to your entire 5 a day. Sausages, bacon, eggs, beans, black pudding. I don't eat mushrooms, but I don't judge. Mushrooms on there as well for some. Fried tomato, hash browns, toast, the whole thing. It is literally a feast fit for a king to start your day off. And might I just suggest, probably one of, if not the best, cure for a hangover. And I am speaking from a lot of experience there. It's the king of breakfasts, and I don't care what anyone says. I can really go for one now that you've brought that up. Two comments, and food has come up in both of them so far. I am obviously hungry. Thank you very much. Blue Yoshi 94 says, Alan, here are 4 arcade games. You get to keep 2 and erase 2. Your games are Mappy, Dig Dug, Space Invaders, and Pac-Man. What are you choosing? Now, Blue Yoshi, ignoring completely the prestige that comes with at least 2 of these games, Space Invaders and Pac-Man, I'm purely going just for me. There's no denying that those 2 games alone are revolutionary for the time, but they're actually the ones that I'm going to get rid of, Space Invaders and Pac-Man, and only because I've played those a lot. I don't think I've ever played Mappy. I've probably played Dig Dug somewhere in time, but I don't really remember it. So I'm going to keep the games that I haven't really played because I'd like to give them a shot. And that being said, I'm pretty sure that at least 3 of those, the Mappy, Dig Dug, and I think Pac-Man, are on the Namco Museum collection that I can get for my new Evercade console. So I might be playing those sooner rather than later. Thank you very much, Yoshi. So, Dylan Jacobson says, Alan, have you checked out Borderlands 4 yet? Any early thoughts if you have? Dylan, yes, I have. We're currently playing it at the moment. Me and my wife, we're co-oping through it on the weekends, and I am really thoroughly enjoying it. Is it the best Borderlands game? No. I like the sort of open worldiness of it. I mean, I guess Borderlands was always kind of open world, but you had different sections that you could go to and come back, and this seems to be just one giant map that you can tear around on. I thought it was a little bit I thought the combat was a little less fast-paced than I'm used to, but I've gotten used to that, no problem. I like all the guns so far. It's still very much got that Borderlands kind of humour to it. The only thing that I'm really not getting on with, and I have no idea why this is an issue, but I don't like the menus and the maps and things like that. I just feel like it's really fiddly and I can't figure out. I'm never a fan of that sort of moving a cursor around a screen thing, and it's not intuitive, and I don't know why, because this is something that they've nailed for, what, 4 or 5 games now already, including some of the spin-offs, and it's just like, why change, especially on the vending machines? Like, I find it really difficult to compare the weapons that I've got with the weapons I want to buy. And that's kind of the point of a looter shooter, is just looking at those stats, isn't it? I don't know, it's not a big deal, but it's definitely something that I'm butting heads with. But otherwise, no, it's a genuinely good time, and I'm very much enjoying it. Thank you, Dylan. Hooli Kong says, hello, good sir. I know you are a die-hard Sonic guy and prefer him to Mario. But what about the Donkey Kong Country games? Would you rather have that trilogy on the SNES or the Sonic trilogy on the Genesis? Hooli, it's no secret, I am a Sonic guy through and through, die-hard, always have been, so I'm going to choose the Sonic trilogy on the Megasys by default. There's no getting around that. That's not to say that I don't like Donkey Kong Country. Well, here's the big secret. I've only actually played the first one. I've never played 2 and 3. So I want to say this is kind of a biased opinion, based on inexperience with the Donkey Kong Country franchise, but I think even if I had played those 2 games, as spectacular as I know they are, I'm still going to prefer Sonic. But that's something I do need to rectify. I need to play 2, I need to play 3, and, you know, maybe that's something we'll have to look at covering on the show. We did Donkey Kong Country, maybe we should do Donkey Kong Country 2, and that'll give me a chance to finally play it. Watch this space. What have we got next? Philip, my mouth with farts, says, hi Alan, old chap. Got a gaming development question I'd like you to weigh in on. Do you think Rockstar has bitten off more than they can chew with GTA 6? I saw somewhere the development costs have exceeded $2 billion. Or does it really matter because it's almost a given that it's going to sell all the units and bring in all the money? Yeah, you know what, I would believe that they've exceeded $2 billion because this is undoubtedly, and I don't think this is an exaggeration, this is the most hotly anticipated game of the last decade. Probably the most anticipated game since GTA 5. I don't think they're going to have a problem, Philip. I mean, let's be honest, it is going to sell. I mean, it's a slam dunk and it hasn't even released yet. I mean, this game is going to sell through the fucking roof. And I can't see it not making back that money. I think this is as surest bet as there's ever been. Have they bitten off more than they can? No, because they know they need to make this game spectacular, and I think they will. I don't see any way that this game just doesn't walk it. And I'm not even like a huge Grand Theft Auto fan. I've not even played number 5 yet. I'll get round to it eventually. I've not even played number 4 now that I think about it. So I like GTA. It's not my favourite franchise, but you know, even I have to say that, you know, this game is going to absolutely make fucking bank. So yeah, easy open and shut case as far as I'm concerned. And finally, Ovindoli says, Alan, can you explain the appeal of brown sauce? I've tried it on multiple occasions and just can't seem to find the right foods to make it go. Well, I'm going to refer you back to an earlier question. Who was it? It was The Big Deal. Put your brown sauce on a full English breakfast. Thank me later. That seems to be the place where it works the best, if I'm honest. I mean, I like brown sauce. I'm not a big brown sauce guy. I don't ever really use it by choice, but if it's on something, I'll eat it. It's nice, it's tasty, but it's very much a meat sauce. It's almost that sort of barbecue sauce kind of thing, you know. It just works better with sausages, bacon, all of that good stuff. So a full English breakfast is exactly the place you should be using your brown sauce, or in a bacon sandwich, which, you know, again is another kind of breakfast. Thank you, Avindali, and thank you to everyone for writing in. That was a good time. We have to get to our next section, though, which is, of course, our Retrotopia game show. I sound like I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't. But here it is. Choose one, lose one. Ladies and gentlemen, roll up and choose your power up from the game of the week. You pick a power, we pick a consequence. It's choose one, lose one, the game where everyone's a loser. Alrighty, let's ruin some days. So first up, playing Choose One, Lose One, we have Brother Retro, who said, "Gimme a gun." Yeah, that'll do. Okay, Brother Retro, but you didn't specify what kind of gun you wanted, so I'm going to give you a pricing gun, and I have changed every price in this entire store by a single penny, and I'd like you to have all of the labels changed by the morning or you're fired. Thanks for playing. The Big Deal says, based on the Burial at Sea DLC, I'm going to give the Retrotopia, I'll start again. Based on the Burial at Sea DLC, I'm going to give the Retrotopia host of my choice a transorbital lobotomy. Little sidebar here. Yeah, we don't talk much about the DLC in this episode, for good reason. But fuck that transorbital lobotomy scene is just awful, isn't it? If you know, you know. Just the sound design and the flashes and oh, anyway, you are going to give. I don't know who the Retrotopia host of your choice is. Big deal. Um, I mean, it might even make the quality of the show better, frankly. So that would be a plus. But I'm going to say that yes, you can lobotomize any member of the Retrotopia team. But we are all imprinted with a our own personal Big Daddy. So no matter which one of us that you try and lobotomize, you're going to have our respective Big Daddy coming after you for revenge. So good luck with that one. Dylan Jacobson said, "Give me Murder of Crows." Now, this is a hard one to fuck up because this is the power that I'd want the most as well. But done, Dylan. You can have your Murder of Crows vigor. You are allowed to summon crows to your side to help anytime that you choose. However, I'm going to make it so that every, I don't know, random amount of number of times that you use it, instead of a murder of crows, you are going to summon Russell Crowe instead. And he is going to immediately try and fight you. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know which time it's going to happen. But he's going to be there and ready to fuck up your shit. So good luck. Blue Yoshi 94 says, "I want a board game." That's very broad, Blue Yoshi. I can only assume that this is reference to, I mean, maybe there's a BioShock board game. I don't know. But done. You can have a board game. You have the greatest single board game ever created in the history of mankind. It is spectacular, and the only problem with that is that nobody wants to play it with you because everyone's too busy playing BioShock Infinite. So you have the best game ever. You just have absolutely no way to play it. Big Brown Dog said, "I would like my own songbird to guard my domain and to strike fear in the hearts of any who dare oppose me." Um, well, I mean, this one's kind of an open and shut case because, you know, you can have the songbird. The problem is you're not going to be able to go anywhere because the songbird is basically a glorified jailer. So anytime you try and go anywhere, the songbird is just going to try and take you and put you back in your little cell. So yes, it does strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dares to oppose you, but you can't go anywhere and do anything because it won't let you. Hooli Kong says, "I'll take one Elizabeth, please." Listen, I don't know what your intentions are, but they had better be damn pure, okay? This is Elizabeth you're talking about. Fine. You can have one Elizabeth, and it's that one, you see, that's the stipulation, because there are many Elizabeths. So I'm going to give you the 90-year-old heir of Columbia, Elizabeth. She's old, she's angry, she's almost impossible to control, and she's going to lay waste to the entire town that you live in. I mean, spoilers, I guess, but hey, you asked. So you get the worst of all possible Elizabeths. What else? Philip, my mouth with fart, says, "I'd like to develop the bucking bronco vigor. Lifting enemies into the air. Idiot drivers in my way, I can lift them into the air and move them out of my way." This is probably the hardest one that I had to come up with. But you are, yes, you can have the bucking bronco vigor. The thing is, you absolutely misuse this power, which means you are constantly in need of replenishing your salt, so you are constantly taking in salts, and you develop hyponatremia, which is a very serious medical condition, Philip, and I'd like to say I'd send you an ambulance, but the state you've left the roads in means they cannot get to you. It's nice knowing you, buddy. Nice knowing you. Blue shell discharge. Ugh. Blue, Blue Shell Discharge says, I want my own companion who throws ammo and supplies to me to help me fight the baddies. Done. Okay, you have your own companion who throws ammos and supplies at you, but they do it constantly. And you end up in a surplus of ammo and supplies, and basically you get them at all hours, day and night. And at one point, you have to explain, when pulled over by the police, why you have a car full of ammo and supplies and a young girl doing your bidding. You are subsequently arrested and never see the light of day again. Avinderly says 100% the ability to harvest little sisters for Adam. I need that sweet, sweet nectar. Yes, you do. You are going to need that sweet, sweet nectar because now you're addicted to Adam and you need as much as is humanly possible for one person to contain. The problem with that is you've now pissed off the little sisters, and if you know anything about BioShock, you know that does not end well. So eventually they turn on you to try and get revenge and decide to get back their Adam. The problem with that is, of course, is that you are now so saturated with Adam on the cellular level that when they take all of that back with their little needles there is absolutely nothing left of you and you just fade into nothingness. And finally, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious says, I assume that's, I would like the ability to revive in a safe area in case I die. Done. You get to revive in an actual safe because you are not very specific. So, you are in a safe area. So every time you die, you revive inside a random safe somewhere, and of course you're locked in. You can't get out. You then suffocate and die and revive in a safe, and the whole thing just goes on and on and on forever. And if that doesn't sound like a depiction of hell, I don't know what does. Oh boy, there we go. Wow, thanks for playing, guys. You really brought the heat this week. You know, you gave me a lot to work with here. That was fantastic. I love it. So, moving on. And next up, of course, before we get into the episode itself, we have, well, me. Well, an alternate version of me from another dimension with the Gentleman's Interlude. Ah, yes, a tale told twice, from both sides of the same coin. We are Robert and Rosalind Lutece, the twin minds who blurred the boundaries between worlds. Or perhaps not twins at all, merely reflections in quantum variance. Regardless, let us tell you of BioShock Infinite, a world of probabilities realized by irrational games, and its creator Ken Levine. The Constants? It was developed by Irrational, published by 2K Games and released on March 26, 2013. The Variables? Everything else. Our experiment begins in Columbia, a city adrift among the clouds, built on American idealism and sustained by denial. Into this floating utopia steps Booker DeWitt, a man with debts and a task. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. The girl, Elizabeth, is rather special to us. She can open tears, rifts between dimensions, a skill we might know something about. Her powers twist reality, rewriting events before one's very eyes. Columbia, though radiant, is fractured. Beneath its banners of patriotism lies corruption, class conflict, and fanaticism. The good people of Irrational Games painted it beautifully, even as they let it burn. Through Elizabeth's eyes and Booker's regrets, the story folds upon itself, questioning choice, consequence, and constants that bind universes together. The gameplay naturally mirrors this duality: gun and vigor, sky and earth, freedom and fate. Vigors grant extraordinary abilities. Fire from the fingertips, possession of machines, shock and storm. Players dance through combat on the skylines, those marvelous rails strung through the air. Kinetic poetry, if one appreciates such things. And so BioShock Infinite became a paradox admired by millions, a narrative of infinite possibilities endlessly looping, as all things must, when constants remain and variables play their part. All right, that's enough of that. It's time to actually talk a little bit of BioShock Infinite. And before we do, of course, we want to hear what you think about the game in question. So, The Big Deal says, fun fact, this was the first BioShock game that I played. And when I tried to play the first game years later, I got maybe 30 minutes in before quitting. I have learned about that game's big plot point and can really appreciate the story told in this game's Burial at Sea DLC. Yes. You know what? Same. This was the first BioShock game I played, as you're about to hear. And I we like I said, we don't really get into the DLC in this, and I might talk about it on at a later date. Because I kind of feel like the DLC for this game is almost essential, just for bringing the whole story full circle. But more on that another time. Big Brown Dog says, I give this game 4 fingers out of 5. I see what you did there, Big Brown Dog. That is excellent. Excellent commenting. Well done. Hoolie Kong says, just played this for the first time a few months ago and I absolutely loved it. My only negative really would be the fact that you really should play the DLC to get the actual ending, or more of a conclusive ending, I suppose. Well, there you go. Hooligan, thank you for backing me up. I agree, but these days, you kind of get it as the full pack anyway. I mean, I picked BioShock 1, 2, and 3 up for like £7.99 on sale on Switch, and you get the whole shebang. So, fucking win. And finally, Blue Shell Discharge says, while Infinite flipped the script and took us to the skies, changed up overall atmosphere, the game still manages to push the story and game to the same limits we experienced in Rapture. Yes. I mean, is it the same? The same limits we experienced? And that's going to make sense to you a little bit later on. So we'd better stop talking and get down to business. So thank you as always for writing in. We love your comments. We love hearing from you. And this has genuinely been an amazing time for me. And speaking of amazing times, so stock up on salts and prepare to slip through a tear with us to an alternate universe as we discuss BioShock Infinite, released for the PS3, Windows and Xbox 360 on March 26th, 2013. Thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy the show.
In the joyous days of childhood, all they told of wondrous love pointed to the dying Savior. Now they dwell with him above. Will the circle be unbroken by and by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky. You remember.
Alrighty, and we are back today to talk a little bit of BioShock Infinite. And with me, as always, is Brian, the prophet of Retrotopia. And on the other side, we've got one of the many Sams that we've stolen from a parallel universe, because they're always fun to play with. And before we start, guys, let me just say, God only knows what I'd be without you. How are you guys?
Well, that was unexpectedly. I don't know how to take this emotions I'm feeling right now. I'm just going to
Just feel
Let
them.
Sam
Just allow
talk.
yourself to feel.
Yeah.
Just allow yourself to feel.
I come
Brian.
from the goddamn 90s. We weren't allowed to feel as.
Well,
That's
so
true.
do I, and you know what? I have bested those inherent learnings, and now I feel everything. It's like every door in me was opened to the
It's,
experiences of an entire multiverse.
Like that movie Bedazzled when Brendan Fraser sees the sun and he just starts crying all the time.
I love that scene so much. It makes me laugh every time. His
That's
face
a-
is a picture.
Man, what
Oh.
a callback! I think I saw that when it came out, and that was it.
It's
Oh
a funny
yeah,
film.
I love that movie.
Is it worth a rewatch?
Oh yeah, I mean, if for nothing else, Elizabeth Hurley was just smoking hot in that one,
Ah, that's true. Yeah.
and she's
And
that type
quite
of
literally.
smoking hot British woman that, she's so confident and in control that you're just like, yes, mommy.
Kind of weird, but I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
Well, it's weird because I have a British mummy, so that's kind of strange. You're welcome to it, Brian. Have at it. So,
All right, Alan,
Bioshock-
I will go bang your mom.
now that we've gotten completely off the rails, and in record time, no less,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit of BioShock Infinite. And I'm going to start with you, Brian. What's your history with the game?
Oh, this BioShock I took a leap of faith on. I actually, the first time I played through BioShock, I didn't get on with it very well. It didn't resonate with me. Like, I don't know, like, what it was that didn't make me like it. So when this one came out, I think I jumped on the FOMO and bought it. Plus, I was buying a lot of PC games at the time. And I love this one. I love the sunny scenery of Colombia and stuff like that. And this one I like so much actually made me go back and play BioShock, the original, and I ended up falling in love with that one too. So this is kind of like my gateway BioShock.
That sounds awfully familiar. Sam, what about you, buddy?
Oh, well, my only experience with BioShock was playing the first one, not all the way through, a year ago, actually.
It
Almost
was.
like
It was.
to the day. We really planned this out well. I'm glad we skipped the
As
second
if.
one. Thank you. But I had never
We'll
played
get
this
there.
one. Okay, sure. I had always heard that there were mixed feelings about this one, but that people that like it seem to really like it, and people that don't like it thought it was too different from the original. So I was actually expecting to enjoy this one quite a bit more because the original really I didn't enjoy it that much. So that's really all I got.
And that's Sam's review in total. And you will say no more. I kid. Pretty much the same as Brian as it goes, except I hadn't ever played the original BioShock. I actually looked it up. I first played this game back in 2015, so I guess it was only like a couple of years after it came out. And do you know what? I think it must have been one of the free games with Xbox. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I can't think of any other reason why I would have picked this up and started playing it. And, buddy, I fell in love. This was my first BioShock experience, and I adored it. Still do to this day. And then, like Brian, I went back and played the other BioShocks, and it just introduced me to this wonderful, wonderful series. And still pissed off that we've only got the 3. Come on, guys, pull your fucking fingers out. But
Yeah, there's that game by the BioShock creators coming out. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now, but I'm really, really interested in that one. I'm gonna look it up while you
Yes.
talk.
It's not. I don't know why I thought it was something like Judas or something like that. It's
Judas,
not
yeah,
that.
that's it.
Is it that?
Yeah,
And I thought, did you play Atomic Heart? Because I heard that was kind of
I
similar.
did, but I didn't really get too far into it.
Okay. I mean, it's been another one on my sort of radar for a while. I've just not pulled the trigger. But
If they put it out on PlayStation Plus, I might take another crack at it. But if Atomic Heart's the one I'm thinking of, I might have got quite a bit into it. I just stopped playing and I never went back because I did have Game Pass at the time.
Sure. Well, I mean that's Atomic Heart. This is BioShock, and BioShock, of course, is sort of defined by its settings, almost a character unto themselves. So, what did you think of Columbia? I almost said Rapture there. That's how invasive that is. What did you think of Columbia? I know you touched on it earlier, Brian, but kind of something else, right?
Well, it's kind of an interesting concept considering the first few games take place below the sea, and this one you fly up into the sky. I guess I don't know if it was a big surprise or anything like that, but when you fly above the clouds and you kind of see this bright, sunny, everything shiny and clean Columbia, and it's kind of a snapshot of Americana, right down to the old timey quartets and stuff like that. And you first land there and you get this, oh my god, this is almost like a paradise. Obviously, it turns out not to be a paradise, but it's just this wholesome place that you go through, and it's very religious based. Obviously, you get baptized on your way in there, and it's all by the founder, Comstock. And it is. I really like it, and I really like what they did with it, and I really like how they have like the central, statue in the middle of the, I can't remember what the statue is of, but it's like Elizabeth's living quarters. And everything you seem to do revolves around that statue, like as you rotate around, giving you a sense of where you are on the floating islands. I really like it. It's neat. Neato burrito, so to speak.
I didn't clock that you were going around the central statue.
I have no basis for that. I just assumed you are. I assumed that you'd have your, big statue in the middle of everything so everybody could see it all the time. And then as you're playing the game, you always seem to be on a different side of it.
You do see it in various parts of the game, so it does sort of work as, and not just a central part of the map itself, but also kind of a central plot point, which we will get to later on. But go on, Sam. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Columbia to me, like, just immediately getting that, we're like, yes, of course it looks cool. It's in the clouds. It's got that kind of like, just like BioShock, the original, has that kind of like old timey. This takes place before the original BioShock, right? So this is like you're in the sky, but then you also have this like golden age or gilded age, but steampunk kind of aesthetic to everything. So it's like things are kind of techie, but like really old timey looking. But like, I don't know. I just right away, I got this like ick from it because like to me, it's like, that you have this like, sheen over everything where everything is beautiful and everyone's nice, but it's like also everyone is white and wealthy looking, and then it's like, oh shit, like this is a deeply like immediately you get those vibes where it's like I am not going to have to go far before I see something like deeply disturbing and racist, and it's like, oh, there we go. Like, and I know it's all part of the story, but it's like, oh my god, did I feel uncomfortable like immediately walking into this place?
Like, like the whole game starts based off of like you throwing a baseball at a black person who's chained up, and it's just like, you get the choice: throw the ball, don't throw the ball. Yeah. A little white guilt there, and just like, I'm not going to throw the ball. No.
Yeah, no. I threw the ball at the carnival barker, like the guy that was like the announcer. Yeah.
or at least you tried anyway.
I tried. Yeah. I think they grabbed your hand or whatever, and then I was like, at that point, after that scene, I was like, I already knew this is kind of where this was going, and then there was that scene, and I was like, I choose violence. I'm like, gloves are off. Anyone here is forfeit. Like, because I know that this is just a society built on just racist bullshit.
Partway through the game, you get to a portion where all the black servants are kind of stuck in the background there, and everybody's kind of standing still, and you can like pop off anybody in the head, and you can just like kill civilians. Like, again, this game doesn't hold back. And did you as well just kind of be like, nah, brother, you're good, and you just carried on? That was probably not a great thing to say, but no, it's just like, it's like, no, I feel more connected to this guy who's a servant than I do to the, wealthy white people who are being just absolute terrible people. Like we live in a society where we don't do that anymore, in theory.
Right.
Well, that's
Like
just
I
it, and
didn't.
that's
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that is the, I mean, what price paradise? Because yeah, you do sort of make that ascent from the lighthouse into the sky, and immediately you think, well, you know, this is a golden city in the sky.
Well, they present it
This is
so
literally
well.
heaven. This is heaven.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
there's choirs singing. There's, you know, all right, barbershop quartets, but fucking awesome. And it's like these people have been living in the sky for so long and living this way that to them it's just normal, you know, and that's the scary thing because they don't see that there's anything wrong with this. And, you know, I didn't intend for this to be a philosophical conversation right out of the gate, but fuck it, this is a philosophical game, so let's go. And it takes somebody from the outside to see literally immediately through the illusion of perfection that Columbia is trying to maintain. And it's just that lurch immediately. The game does not fuck about. It wastes no time in getting to the action. Like you said, you go to the stage and there's the ball and everything. And I was just like, oh, you know, everything's been nice and pleasant up until now. And it's just like, actually, no, I don't really agree or like that. And oh, suddenly I'm shoving a guy's face into a skyhook. Let's fucking go.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
skyhook was
immediate. I love it.
awesome.
It was. What a
Oh, later
brilliant addition.
on, you can get electricity attached to the skyhook, so when you hit somebody, it'll actually shock him and the people nearby. Oh my god, best melee weapon ever.
Sure, absolutely, and useful for getting around as well. I mean, fuck it, let's talk about the actual gameplay and what have you, because I just want to make it perfectly clear that we are almost certainly going to spoil things about the story of this game. It's been out
Oh,
for
there's no way we can't.
no, you have to talk about the story, and there is a lot of story to talk about. So I guess spoiler warning if I haven't said already in the intro. Um, but gameplay, you know, we've all played BioShock now. I mean, it's more BioShock, right? But somehow better. I don't know. What do you think?
It's different. It's more linear. That's what a lot of people dislike about the game is how linear it is compared to the original BioShock. And the story, I don't know how you want to describe it compared to the original BioShock, but the story seems a little more easy to follow, I guess would be the way I'm looking. So, yeah, it's how do I finish this thought? I don't even remember where I started.
I guess I could jump in here
thanks, Sam.
for gameplay wise. I mean, like it seems like the upgrades and the abilities that you can gain are a little easier to manage in this game than they are in BioShock the original. Like, yeah, you had your I can't remember what it's called in original BioShock, and this one it's called salt or whatever. Like, it's your kind of like your energy or whatever, your salts, which is
like
kind
your
of like
mana.
just it's like an old timey like your basic. Well, I mean, salts when you boil it down are your electrolytes basically. So it's like kind of funny. Like, you've got food all over the place you can eat for health, and you've got stuff like cigarettes and coffee and different tonics and stuff that you can consume those for salts. And there were the abilities, but then there were also like you could equip different clothing items or whatever. There was like a pants, a shirt, a hat, and boots, I think, that all did different things. And that was kind of cool too. So there was some customization there. I didn't find that I could fuck up my loadout like I could in BioShock, and that's what I appreciated. Like, I didn't have to like pre-plan ahead how I was going to work this skill tree, and then like, because basically the reason why I stopped playing the original BioShock was I kind of soft locked myself in a position where like I needed some ability to be more advanced than it was, or like the ammo was like harder to manage and all that shit. Like, it was more of a strategic game in a way that I wasn't prepared for. That this was just more of a pure like, gather your items, customize whatever abilities you want to roll out, and then just kind of go for it. And I think I appreciated that more.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, the game seems like it simplifies and streamlines a lot of the gameplay elements in order that it better serves the story, because that's really what the shining like beacon of this game is the story. Um, so yeah, I would hear the argument that it's been sort of simplified, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at
No.
all, in fact.
Well, no, it's purists like to gatekeep games when they get a little bit simpler and more accessible to more people, but game companies really do have to cater to a larger audience than just the, I don't know, let's say 1 million people who buy your first game. Well, you want more people to buy the second game, so yeah, you got to cater a little bit, and that's kind of what this game does. Is it caters to a broader audience.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it's really cleverly done because, while playing it this time, perhaps it's not something that I noticed the first time round or any other subsequent playthroughs, because it's just like I wasn't all that familiar with the original BioShock, but there is a lot more focus on the plasmids, or in this game as they're called, the vigors, which are basically your magical powers. I mean, if you're not familiar with BioShock, you have a gun in one hand, you have the ability to cast effectively magic from the other hand, and you can use a variety of varying combo of like spells and guns to basically just play however you want. It's fantastic. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of clever that they streamlined all of this stuff, but there was always kind of a beat in the story that would explain why, if you looked hard enough. So I just thought it came across as really organic. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, you mean gaining the different abilities and stuff?
Well, not only gaining the different abilities, but I mean, I can't, without, going too far into the story, there is a reason that, excuse me, there are vigors in Colombia.
Right.
There are reasons that there are similarities between this and the original BioShock. And, it becomes less a focus on the original game mechanics. Sorry, I just hit my desk. And they kind of take a more of a back seat to just get the story going, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're there and they're fun to use, don't get me wrong, but I just don't feel like they're as front and center as they used to be.
Well, and the other thing too is there wasn't just one spot where you can find one. So you can miss them. I think by the end I had eventually collected them all. But there are these like special bottles that you can find where you get a new ability or what were they called? Vigors.
That's right.
But if you miss it at one point, those same bottles will be elsewhere in the game. So like there are these very cool like looking, they look like liquor bottles, but like the one that's fire is like a devil shape or whatever, and then there's like other ones. I noticed that those specifically styled bottles would be in various spots. So like I was assuming that if I had missed one earlier, I could pick it up then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think that's right as well, because otherwise, why would you have those specific? Because all the other salt bottles, because that's the thing. They use different terms between the different games, so
Yeah.
I get mixed up. But yeah, the bottles for just your generic salts are the blue ones, right? So why have these very cool, look, sidebar, like I would love a collection of these vigor bottles for the games room.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that would look
that'd be
so
cool. Yeah, they'd
cool,
look good on a
right?
shelf.
They would. But yeah, that again, and that kind of like, I get why people say the game is perhaps a little bit on the linear side, but I'm just thinking, well, if there's the possibility that you're missing vigors and can pick them up later, surely that implies that there is at least some degree of exploration in this game. I don't think it's quite as narrow and gated as people think it is.
No, there's definitely extra places you can go. And I mean, we haven't talked about Elizabeth yet, but she has she has a lockpick ability, and basically any door that you have to lockpick that advances the story is basically free. It says you could use like the hairpin lock, which is like an infinite lockpick.
Yeah.
But anything above and beyond, including safes and other doors, are locked behind like these lockpick kits that you can pick up. So that was kind of a cool little like feature where, yeah, if you had the requisite number of lockpick kits and a locked door, you could go find some extra shit.
Yeah. And it's dead simple as well. Like you say, just have the right number of lockpicks, and you're good to go. Because, and we will talk about Elizabeth later on. I've got a lot to say about Elizabeth. But yeah, she just comes along and does it for you, which is another thing that I just really appreciated about this game. Now, I don't hate the mini games that came with the original BioShock, but I don't miss them either, because you don't get any of the hacking mini games or anything like that in this one, and I'm kind of cool with it.
Yeah, I thought those were cool, but I was also kind of bad at them because you would find ones where like they would be just beyond your skill level, and then if you didn't have the right upgrades to slow it down, it was like, well, I probably need whatever's in there, but I can't get at it because I'm not upgraded enough, and I just don't have, I'm not fast enough to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just not getting those items, and I got injured. So
I don't have the tools required for this, and I'm definitely not smart enough to do it by myself. That
Right,
was my experience. So anyway, we're back into it now. We've got Brian back. Kind of lost you there for a minute, buddy. Where were we? We're talking vigors, I think.
I wouldn't know.
Not that he's bitter. So we were talking about the vigors and how...
God, I would have loved to have been part of that conversation.
Well, you can be part of it now. What do you think? I mean, I was just basically ruminating on the fact that I think that the vigors take a kind of a back seat to the story in this one. There's less focus on them than there was in the original BioShock. So
the original BioShock was all about the vigors.
Sure. I don't know. I just kind of felt like not for any... Fuck me. Like, now I'm off my game big time.
That's what I was going for. Yes.
Well, here's just we'll catch you up, because like I had mentioned that I kind of appreciated the so vigors are in Infinite, and what were they called they were called something else in original BioShock? Plasmids. God, I keep fucking that up. All right, so like the plasmids, right? Like I always could you upgrade your plasmids or do something to, because that's where I feel like I really fucked up the original BioShock, is like I just didn't have the right plasmids. Either I didn't find them or I didn't equip them or something. But the cool thing about Infinite was like you would find these vigors by grabbing these bottles that looked really cool, and they were like, the fire one was shaped like a devil, and then there was like an electric one that was shaped like something, and they looked like these like really ornate liquor bottles. And you would find them, and it would kind of follow along the story. Like there were a couple where you'd find them right when you needed them, but you could, I think, potentially miss them, and then you would find them later, because if you had already gathered that vigor, when you come across that same bottle again, it just becomes like salts that you can recharge with. So it kind of seemed like there were fail safes in place where, like, if you had missed something along the way, you would pick it up later on, and I really appreciated that. So I think, it where people might say that this game is too linear, like it is and it isn't, because you could miss stuff, but you could also pick it up later and really not miss a beat, and I appreciated that.
Well, the only vigor that was important was Shock Jockey, because you needed it to open the door to go to the next path. Otherwise, you got Murder of Crows and Devil's Kiss, both from an enemy that you fight for the first time that becomes a regular enemy later on in the game. And all the other vigors you kind of find along the way. You get Possession right off the bat. Sorry, Possession's also story-based, because you have to use it to open that first gate. And it's your first introduction into vigors. Now, like, out of the ones I just mentioned that were necessary, Shock Jockey, Possession, and that was it. The rest were just there for shits and giggles. And honestly, I use Shock Jockey most of the time, because when you upgrade that, it stuns a bunch of enemies. And electricity is pretty much effective on everything except for that one big daddy-looking fella. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the handyman.
Yeah, the handyman.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Like, I mean, I was going to segue that to what your favourite vigors are, but, it sounds like Shock Jockey is the order of the day. I mean,
I
early
also
game,
liked Shock Jockey. That
it's
Shock
just so good.
Jockey
Like,
was awesome.
as soon as you got the ability to chain that thing, and you could just
Yep.
shock an entire room full of people
Well,
and just have them standing with their asses hanging out, so you could just
there
plug
wasn't
them.
one enemy that I couldn't stop with Shock Jockey to give myself a bit of breathing room and pop off a few enemies.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, I must for the same reason. Like early game, I was a big fan of Murderer Crows, not least of which because like I am a big fan of crows in general. I think they're awesome. I've always wanted one, but yeah, it kind of did the same thing. Just sort of staggered the enemy for a little while, so you could just line them up and just take care of them. It's a beauty. Anything that stops an enemy from running around in this game is a good, not plasmid, vigor in my eyes. There you go. You see, fucking it up myself.
Yeah, even like to the point where I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but one of the bosses was giving me trouble, and it was the ghost of whoever the fuck.
Oh yeah.
And she kept like raising dead. You know, like in the graveyard there were kind of a finite amount, but it seemed like you would kill them and then she would raise them again. So it was like, fuck, she's just got like throwing infinite enemies at you. And so
Well,
I
she's in
was
the
just
graveyard.
like, right,
Yeah.
but I was just like spamming the shock jockey to like keep the other enemies stunned, and then I would just shoot her instead. Like that was the only way I got through that.
That is
It's
the
actually the
technique.
strategy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
that's-
strategy to do it.
Yeah, big time. I mean, why waste time like crowd controlling when you can just do it in one button?
Well, yeah,
It's
once I
funny,
realized that she had like basically infinite times that she could, I mean, then it's just like a losing battle.
Yeah. It was funny because after you beat her, she takes you for a walk around the city in a few points. And I'd actually, before I went into the graveyard, did a tour of that city and killed off all the enemies. So when we did the walk, there was no fighting.
Yeah,
Nice.
same. Because that's another great feature of this game is just you just press up and you just get that delightful arrow that shows you exactly where you
Oh,
need to go. And I
It's
don't know
N
about
on
you
PC.
guys. I don't know about you guys, but when I see an arrow pointing me directly where I need to go, I know exactly where I don't need to go yet. You know,
Yes.
it's like if that way for story, right?
Well-
So if I go and explore this way, I can go find more shit. Brilliant, and I'm not gonna
as-
close off any paths.
Yeah, so as you're exploring, also, there's a whole bunch of locked doors that Elizabeth can open for you. Have you got to Elizabeth yet? Did I miss that part?
We
Just
we
briefly.
touched. We
All right,
very
all right.
briefly touched on the
Well-
lock picking, but
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead.
if you already touched on the lockpicking, yeah, but anyways, you go in there and did you guys have a problem finding lockpicks through it? Because at first I was like, I found barely enough to get by, but by the end of the game, I had like a stockpile of like 20.
yeah,
I had the same problem.
100%.
There were a couple of locks I really wanted to check out early on, and I just didn't have enough. By the end, like I was swimming in them.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, this game is very, very generous with basically all the item pickups and kind of loses, again, not necessarily a bad thing, but kind of loses that almost survival horror experience of the first game.
I kind of lost that when Elizabeth threw you items every 10 seconds.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah,
Out of
this is-
ammo,
this is
Elizabeth
not-
got you.
It's just
Yeah, this
perfect.
is not the survival horror genre at all. Like, I mean, the first one is kind of, I guess, it is. Yeah, I would say it solidly is. Plus, some additional elements to it. But this one was just pure, just shooter story.
You know, there's only one point in this game where you kind of have to avoid an enemy, and that's in the later part where you lose Elizabeth there, and you have those siren head enemies that if they see you,
Yeah,
they bring all the enemies to life, and those things are fucking powerful, and you like dump probably all your ammo just trying to kill them. But if
Yeah.
you sneak by them, it's absolutely fine. You don't have to fight them. And I didn't realize that at first. I ended up wasting a lot of ammo, and then I realized I could just sneak by.
Yeah.
yeah, I did the
But I
same
did that.
things.
I did that this time as well, and I should fucking know better. But
Yeah.
yeah, those things are tough. My God. I've completely lost my train of thought now. Chasing enemies, diddly do. Somebody help me.
Did you have okay? So we talked about favorite vigors. I think. I mean, Brian and I used the shock jockey a ton. Alan, you liked the crows, although shock jockey was just super useful whether you liked it or not.
Oh, I loved
Um,
it.
Yeah.
Why not shift into Elizabeth herself, her story, her reason, and all that kind of stuff? Because it kind of sets up the rest of the game.
Yeah, I guess that works. I was
We're
gonna ask you quick about weapons. If there was a
I
guess we
specific
could do
weapon
that.
that you liked.
I'm just so
I had,
I'm-
because I finished the game already, I was gifted with a golden pistol and a golden machine gun, so golden pistol and golden machine gun all the way.
Nice.
those were magic, and I got those simply because the version, because I rebought this because I had to play it on the go. I bought it for Switch, and it was the whole shebang, which was only like £7.99 at the time. It was on sale, which 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much. But because it was everything, because it was the complete edition of BioShock Infinite, I also got those weapons right from the off.
I think I
nice.
might have had them too, and I didn't even have to beat it once, so I just got it for free.
Exactly.
Then maybe I was just gifted it, and I just happened to have beaten it when it happened.
Maybe.
But if I had to pick a non one of those two weapons, I always like to go for the carbine. The single
Really?
shot, accurate, pretty powerful. Aim for the head. I'm on keyboard and mouse, so I'm aiming for heads or nuts. I'm taking out both heads.
Heads or not? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the carbine was all right. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just a machine gun guy whenever it comes to a game like that. A machine gun or a shotgun. And for this one, I just found the machine gun just so useful, especially when you've kind of upgraded its ammo capacities and things like that.
Yeah.
It was just very, very handy to have on board. Otherwise, I'd be swapping it out for various other weapons. I did quite like the crank gun that those Patriots would drop.
Yeah, those were cool. The Patriots.
Those were
Yeah,
very
that
nice.
was pretty fun. But they didn't last too long, and you had to go back and pick up your original weapon.
True enough. Brian,
I
you're
would-
usually a rocket
Yeah.
launcher kind of guy.
I avoided it like the goddamn plague. That, the volley gun. Main ones I used, repeater, because I ran out of pistol ammo, I think, at one point, and I needed something, and a repeater was available once you find the Think employees.
Yep.
It was the machine gun ran out of ammo because they used a repeater, so you had to use the repeater for a while. Sniper rifle is how I beat the final battle. Literally,
really?
I stood on the deck and I sniper rifled everybody on the friggin' ship.
Do you know what? I don't think I ever once used the sniper rifle.
I didn't like the
couldn't
sniper
swear to it.
rifle. Something about
It's
this
the
game's
most-
something about this game's like style and color. Like I just couldn't pick out the enemies well enough to get in with the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I play sniper rifle on any game I can get a sniper rifle on. I used to live Battlefield 2 as a sniper, and I'm not gonna say I got like amazingly good or anything, but I got pretty handy with the sniper rifle in most games on computer.
So yeah, it just goes to show, doesn't it? I mean, there's so many different ways that you can play this game, which is kind of typical for an FPS. There's always a selection of weapons that you can use. It just depends on your play style. Like, I was very much getting stuck in strafing and throwing vigors around and then shooting stunned enemies and what have you. And that's just how I like to play, just bouncing from hook to hook and leaping on enemies, which we didn't mention.
Oh,
The
that hook
ability
thing was
to
cool.
using the skyhook to launch yourself up into the air onto a hook, and then you could just literally I don't know, air assassinate people, which
You ever just ride around on the skyhook for no reason other than to enjoy the scenery?
absolutely yeah. And what a scenery. This game is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, because sometimes
Right.
there was stuff kind of hidden, like up above or like behind stuff that you had to ride the skyhook around to like land somewhere else, and it's like, oh, there's shit back here. There's like a safe or something, like an extra audio log or something. There was like kind of a reward for, bopping around on the skyhook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
Usually.
fun too. And plus, it was a great way to get get away from people. There's one section fairly early on in the game where you can ride the skyhook there and just kind of shoot them as you pass by, and it takes a little while to hit them, but they can't hit you when you're on the skyhook because you're going too fast.
Yeah, you can just pop them at your leisure, and it's again. I mean, they can sort of get wise to you and chase you on the skylines or whatever, but
That's just their death.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm just going to turn around and fucking shoot you, and it's going to be magnificent. But yeah,
I just like they can like ride in on the skyhook and then like just drop in, and especially if you have that ability where you drop on the skyhook and electrocute, it's just like you cause
Oh
mayhem
yeah.
and then jump right back on the skyhook and ride back around.
I had two abilities. I don't remember what I was wearing to get them, but one was the skyhook would cause the electric shock that would spread out, and the other one was if I hit somebody in a
yep.
critical way, it would electrocute the people around them and like burn them up. It was like overkill. It was
Yeah.
way too powerful at some points of the game.
But that's just it. I mean, this game does such a good job of making combat fluid and fun. Like you do by and large get into these arenas and you recognize that, okay, well, I am definitely in for a fight here. There's skylines everywhere. You know, there's cover all over the place. There are tears that I can pull other items in. Again, we'll explain that, but it's just geared up towards frantic combat, where the first one was very much a sort of sneaking and taking out enemies as you can. This is just a fucking romp. This is just, you know, here you go. Here's a bunch of things to play on. Just go and have some fun. And I love that.
Yes.
You did mention the tears. So like I guess we probably should just get into talking about Elizabeth a little bit, because like you can't talk about those like rips in reality without talking about Elizabeth and her abilities.
What I meant by she sets up the rest of the story.
That's it. And we are going to be we're going to keep our cards close to our chest for at least the time being. But as we get we'll let you know when we're getting into serious spoiler territory. Don't worry. But Elizabeth, undoubtedly the single greatest sidekick in any video game ever. I'm not even using hyperbole. You know, I truly believe it. This is the single best escort quest in video game history, bar none.
Not really even an escort quest. She's just part of the story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure, but you are. Yeah, but then so is Ashley from Resident Evil 4, but she's a pain in the
Never
arse.
played it.
Well, there you go. Okay, I have.
But
yes,
no, she's great, because not only does she not need to be babysat the entire way looking at you, Natasha, but she also hands you silver coins, ammo, and health kits when you need them, and salts.
Yep.
It's basically your mobile re-equip store.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, she is so fucking useful. And, you know, I mean, to kind of set the table a bit, I guess, our man Booker DeWitt, the character that you are playing as, has been sent to Colombia in order to bring back bring the girl and erase the debt. And Elizabeth is the girl. And she is kept in the tower that Brian mentioned earlier, in the middle of Colombia. And that is the mission, at least to begin with. Yes. And once you get there and actually get to experience what she brings to the game, it just becomes a whole different thing. Just wonderful. Oh, I love it. Love it so much.
Yeah, and like as the story unfolds as well, you start learning more about Elizabeth, and then she kind of upgrades by downgrading her clothes. And also let's give props to Elizabeth and the Rule 34 community for making breakthroughs in 3D modeling.
Is that true?
That is true.
Oh,
explain.
They made so much porn of her that it actually led to technological leaps in 3D design.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Fantastic.
You fucking nerds. Honestly.
Oh yeah, don't look it up either. I was trying to find more info on that, and I ended up on a subreddit that's BioShock Infinite Rule 34 or whatever. Basically, it's just Elizabeth with giant tits. 99% of the time, it's just enhanced
I can
boobs.
assure you that I have absolutely no interest whatsoever, because
I can hear your keyboard typing.
My feelings for Elizabeth in the Elizabeth Comstock in this game. Like I think of her as like a fucking daughter. You know, it's the game does such a magnificent job of making you want to protect this girl. I mean, she basically comes
But
onto
you
the
don't
scene.
have to.
I know, but that's just it. You know, she comes onto the scene as this sweet, innocent, shut-in young girl who's basically been locked up her entire life. She's a Disney princess, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, she's
in the middle
Rapunzel.
of yeah, exactly, in the middle of all of this, like, even before the downfall of Colombia, this horrific lifestyle that everyone is leading, and it's just like instantly the game is just like, you want to protect this girl, and I'm like, I want to protect this girl, and it's just marvelous, very well done.
Yeah.
So
and
fuck off
the
with your Rule
storytelling-
34.
The storytelling between Elizabeth and Booker, and the constant times where she, I don't know, she tried to have like a moral justification for hating Booker, or like freaking out on him, and then she always comes back to it. You can tell there's the relationship's deeper than the story really lets on at the beginning, and it kind of, as it unfolds, you see how they're connected. And it's really, I think that's where the game shines the most. Is the story for me is really, really good.
100%. I mean, this is The Last of Us, as far as I'm concerned. You know, the passion that everyone has for that storyline. I mean, this is it for me, and it is that trope. It is the grizzled old man who's lost more than he lets on, and the hopeful young girl who sort of teaches him to love again. And it's just it's done so well here.
And he doesn't even remember everything from his past. He has like a blackout of essentially like a lot of it. Like, he was a part of the cavalry at the Battle of Wounded Knee. That's his backstory, and that comes into play during the game.
Sure.
And then he keeps getting these flashbacks of him in his private eye office, and there's somebody banging at the door there, bring us the girl, wipe away the debt. And you don't find out till later in the game who that girl really is. And obviously, spoilers, but it's going to be Elizabeth, but it's more complicated than just saying it's Elizabeth. It's very obvious from the get-go as you start playing the game that there's a relationship that's pretty deep between you two. And yeah, when it all comes to head, it's a really good twist.
It is a wonderful twist. If you didn't want to know that twist, go back 20 seconds and, erase your memory. I'm just joking. No, it is just, it's
that
just
doesn't
so...
even scratch the surface of this story.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Because there are so many... This game is just so good at making you think you know what's going on, and then just changing something, and suddenly you're looking at the story in a whole new way. Brilliantly done.
And
Sam has been quiet about the story because he hated it.
I didn't hate it. No. I do appreciate that I'm fearful that I'm gonna say something that's like too spoilery, so I hope I don't. But like,
game's old enough, dude.
Yeah, I know, but we still want to like put the heavy spoilers a little bit later. But like I don't know, Booker's kind of amnesia kind of was, allowed for the twist, I guess. Basically, like that was pretty well done, where you're kind of along for the ride with Booker trying to figure out what the hell's happening, and you only get bits and pieces of what his backstory is. So I thought that was pretty good.
What about those the two characters, the ones on the boat at the very beginning of the game who get revealed as the Letzi twins?
The Lutesses.
Lutesses,
Yeah.
That's it. I've never pronounced it.
I love
And
those guys.
They're just cryptic in everything they say. And they
They
show up
annoyed
at
the shit
random
out of me.
times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on.
I did
Well,
find them
every time
kind
they
of,
showed up, I was just like, come on.
Yeah. But their entire thing is just like giving you a cryptic clue to the story there. I both enjoyed and didn't enjoy when they showed up. I mean, there are sometimes I was just like, stop prattling on, you fucking people. I just don't want to listen to it. I want to kill somebody. Other times it's like, wow, that's a pretty neat little cut in.
I think that they were absolutely fantastic. I thought they were purposefully vague and cryptic and what have you, because the thing is with the Lutesses is that they make a lot more sense the second time through,
Yeah.
because a lot of what they are saying, it's not spoilers, but it's just like, if you know, you know. And, you know, you go back and you just think, oh, fuck, okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Like, I understand why they're flipping a coin 122 odd times
Uh
and
huh.
always getting the same answer and shit like that. And it's just genius.
Well,
Yeah, and they
it's
kind of
like when
explain
you.
the. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I just wanted to say quick, like it's like when you watch a mystery or read a mystery or something like that. It's like it's obviously, you're going through to figure out what the answer to like the main question of the mystery is. Once you figure that out, you could watch it again and then see all of the cool clues along the way. Like that's why I think it's fun to watch like a mystery or thriller twice, because like they're leaving you clues that you're not catching because you don't know to look for them, and then when you watch it a second time through, you're like, oh man, the answer was obvious the whole time.
The
That
moment
was
of
Knives Out
revelation,
for me.
yeah. Oh, I've not seen that. Is that good?
Really good.
Oh,
Which one?
I should.
Knives Out.
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, really good mystery movie. Watch it a second time, you'll start seeing all the stuff you missed.
Yeah, I was
I'll
thinking
have
about
to check
that with like we watched Psycho recently, and it's like obviously I know how Psycho ends. Like this time through, I was just like, yeah, there's tons of cool shit in here that they've been like telegraphing this whole time.
And that's what this
Pretty
game
neat.
does with the Lutesses.
The Lutesses, yeah. Brother and sister physicists responsible for the fact that Columbia can fly, in fact.
By using time manipulation.
Yeah, I think so. There's a
I
whole
can't
lot of
remember
physics.
exact thing. It was something like the time particles or something.
It's like a steady state particle that for some reason allows things to float instead of
Yeah,
using like
very
helium or what have you.
scientific-y. We'll get some of the nerds down in the lab to explain it to everybody.
The Retrotopia labs.
Yeah, what is that Doctor Who gif where he's like timey-wimey, whatever? Like,
That's it. That's it. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
that's it.
But that's
Yep.
that's what I love about the Lutesses, because they know they're geniuses and they know everyone else is kind of stupid, so they're not
Well,
afraid to have fun with it.
But if you listen to them, they also know what happened, what is going to happen, and what is happening.
And there's a very good reason for that. A very good reason indeed. Oh shit! Like I feel like we're really sort of skirting up against.
I think it's time. We've been
We're
at
gonna
this for
have
an
to.
hour minus the 15 minutes minus my little break, and
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to like get into the heavy spoiler territory. So honestly,
Yeah.
listen, if you are it at all, like I cannot encourage you enough to go and play BioShock Infinite. It is a very story-driven game. If you've not played it and you don't want all of the biggest revelations spoiled, I would just go ahead and just like pause this, go play it, and come back. I mean, it's only what 7 or 8 hours long, so you have been warned. Spoilers incoming. Spoilers happening right about now. Okay, Brian, what do you want to spoil?
nothing. I'm done talking.
After all of that,
No,
my
it's
God.
just well, when you have Elizabeth, we got to talk about the tears, because the tears are the major plot of the story, and the tears actually also change the world of Columbia in the sense that you are actually not in the same world you started in when you end the game, because the tears will bring you to a parallel universe. I guess it's a multiverse theory.
It's a multiverse.
So when I say the Lutesses say they know everything that has happened, is happening, and will happen, is because they live in a constant state of these tears.
Yep.
So they kind of see it all.
Absolutely, because they are dead. And also not dead. It's a quantum
Yes.
superposition. Yeah. I mean, multiverse before multiverse was cool. But yes, Elizabeth, our beloved Elizabeth, is able, for some reason, we know the reason, but for some reason she's able to create these rifts, these tears in the fabric of reality, and basically bring things through or cross over herself. And the whole story of the game just basically boils down to people abusing this power.
Yeah, and Elizabeth wanting to go to Paris as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's her ultimate dream, but it all hinges on what our man Booker DeWitt can't remember. Which, go ahead, Brian, take us away on
Why
that
do I
one.
have to be the spoiler of everything?
Well,
All right, fine.
I just didn't
So-
want to take all the fun from you.
All right, so let's get into a little bit about Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, after being freed from the tower, you get attacked by her guardian, which is the songbird, which we haven't brought up yet. So the songbird is basically, let's call it a big daddy on crack. It's a giant bird that has like a leather helmet and glass and stuff, and there's these Comstock statues. Comstock being the main antagonist of the game, the father, the religious leader of Colombia. And Comstock statues will call in the songbird, and the songbird's job is to put Elizabeth back into the tower and never let her leave. And it's all revealed later on in the story that the tower is actually draining her power. It's in a gigantic machine. Its sole purpose is to draw the power from her that is used to open these tears that lets Columbia fly, as well as lets Comstock basically control the tears. And as you progress through the game, you start finding these tears around, and it'll start opening up. And at one point, you lose Elizabeth. And as you go to find her, there's these tears, and she's in a different universe again. And you'll hear her talking through the universe as you get closer to her. And finally, when you find out where she is, I can't remember if you go through a tear or if it turns out maybe I was wrong and you were in the same universe. It's been almost like 4 days since I finished this.
You're
But
talking about the sort of, not prison, the operating theatre at the end.
yeah, the one where they stick the probe in her back and her spine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
So after you free her, that's kind of when everything starts getting revealed. And it turns out that Elizabeth and Booker DeWitt are connected. Booker has another one of his flashbacks. And Elizabeth is standing in his private eye office, and there's somebody banging at the door. And it turned out it's Robert Lutessis.
Lutess, yeah.
I remember the Lutess. Fuck, that name is going to kill me. It's him standing at the door. He's the one who says, "Bring us the girl, wipe away the debt." Well, Booker turns around and he goes into a side room, and there's this little girl, Anna DeWitt, I believe her name is.
Anna DeWitt, that's right.
Yeah, and that's what the AD that's burnt onto his hand stands for. So as he gives them the baby, they take him away, and he ends up chasing them. And Comstock is holding the baby as the Lutesses and Comstock go through a tear. You chase him. You try to grab little baby Elizabeth or Anna, and the tear closes, cutting off Anna's finger, hence making a connection with Elizabeth, who also has a pinky finger cut off and a thimble placed over top of it. So that is the big reveal about Elizabeth, but it's not the big reveal about Booker, because I'm going to save that for you, Alan.
Absolutely. So I'll field it from here. Thanks, Brian. So yes, once Anna is taken through the rift and her finger is sliced off, that allows her to exist in two separate universes, which gives her the ability to create these tears, which is something Comstock is very, very interested in, because he has been experimenting with these tears for quite some time with help from the Lutesses, and it has rendered him quite sterile. And thus he is unable to have children of his own, no heirs to the throne of Columbia. So that's why he wants to poke through lots of different universes and find a girl to take as his own, to take his place, and to fulfill the great journey, which is basically war on the land below. As the game progresses, how do I explain this? This is the thing. It's just it gets kind of convoluted, but basically you find out that Comstock, the guy you've been basically railing against and chasing down the entire game, is actually an alternate version of Booker DeWitt himself. After the massacre of Wounded Knee, Booker DeWitt, rocked with guilt, came to a sort of nexus point in his own personal timeline, where he was either going to be baptized and born again, or refuse the baptism and become the Booker that we know. Of course, the version of Booker that is baptized and reinvents himself becomes Comstock. And that is about as big a reveal as you're going to fucking get in this. And Jesus Christ, what were they on? It's absolutely fantastic, but it does take some head scratching to wrap your
Yeah,
head
the
around.
flow chart to figure this one out must be massive.
Yeah, it's
Big
kind of
time.
crazy. Like, so does he just like? I just had questions about that. Where it's like, to me, the reveal felt a little bit of like an ass pull, where it was like, hey, guess what? You were the bad guy the whole time. But it's like, but was I really? Like, what's the deal with like his name is completely different. Like, what does he do? Does he like just straight up change his name when he gets baptized, and it like first and last, like completely? That's just, I mean, they don't really explain it. It's just like all of a sudden you got baptized, and in this reality you're Comstock. But
Well,
it's like,
he just
why?
wanted a clean break. Well, because like when you're dealing with oh god, I can't remember the name of the other guy who was at Wounded Knee, but you fight him at one point in the game. But
Oh, yeah.
he's just like, Booker was like a fucking savage at Wounded Knee. Like, he was doing things to the Native Americans that earned him a bit of a reputation, and
Right.
like the guilt of that just made him want to cut ties altogether with his past, which is why he just completely reinvents himself and takes on a new name. Now, the better question is why. I suppose it's not the better question, because this game kind of does take place over multiple kind of timelines as well. But I thought it was really interesting that you don't realize Comstock is Booker because they look very, very different, and there's actually an in-game explanation for that as well.
Well,
Because
right. That's where I was like, these guys don't look alike either. Like, it was very strange. Yeah.
well,
Well,
And
what was
they
the
don't use
explanation? 'Cause I
same
probably
voice
missed it.
actor either.
eh?
They don't use the same voice actor either.
No, I think is it Troy Baker? I think is
Troy
the
Baker is Booker DeWitt, but Kif Vanden Heuvel
uh-huh.
is Comstock, which is weird. I thought they would use the same voice actor.
Well, this is just it. I
I mean,
mean,
they should have if they really wanted to make him the same dude.
it's the experiments with the Lutece field and the tears and what have you are what have prematurely aged and riddled Comstock with cancers. So he is exactly the same age as Booker, but he's just been basically deformed by these experiments he's been involved in, which I also thought was a very, very cool touch.
You know what I really like about this game was the interactive ending of it all, where the Comstock reveal happens. You just hit a point where you're done fighting, and from this point on, you're just kind of walking through, and it's like an ending, but you're a part of it. A lot of games is put the controller down, or in Sam's case, put it down too early, and then you just enjoy the you enjoy this video, and that's your reward for the game. But this one gets you to kind of walk around and be a part of it. And it was a nice touch.
And do you know what I found really clever about that as well? Because you're walking through basically a reality full of doors and lighthouses that all lead to different universes, I guess, in the BioShock metaverse, as it were. And they comment on how like there are so many different choices, but that it all ends up in the same place. And you can pick any of those doors to go through, and the story plays out exactly the same, which I thought was a really nice touch from a storytelling point of view. But yeah, basically they end up back at that exact moment that Booker was to be baptized. And, the only way, and huge spoilers here, the only way to stop everything, Columbia, the war with the Vox Populi, all of that stuff, is to basically kill Booker at that point of baptism so that Comstock is never born in any universe.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Absolutely.
I think, the end of this game is probably, I'm not going to say, I don't know if I like this ending or BioShock's ending better. Actually, I think I like this ending better, but I like the plot twist in BioShock better.
100%. I mean, it's iconic. It's iconic. But this one, just literally, the first time I played it, I remember it clear as day. I just put down the controller and just stared at the TV, and I was just like, wow. I mean, this was an example of an ending for a game that really just stayed with me to this day. And it doesn't matter how many years pass between playing it, I will always remember how the end of that game goes. It's just perfect.
And kind of jumping back a little bit here, now that we've wrecked the ending. Uh, that that part where you're with the Vox Populi, I think it is. You're down in Shantytown or Finkton proper or something like that, and everybody. You're not really fighting anybody, and all of a sudden you go through that tear when you got to find the Chinese gunsmith, and you find him dead, and that's the first time you go through tear and enter a New Columbia, and all of a sudden there's the war has changed. Everybody's on different sides, and you go up, and people who are your allies or your enemies. That was a nice twist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that whole storyline with Daisy Fitzroy, I think her name was, was just, again, another example of, well, okay, there's a revolution, and it's the downtrodden versus the rich, but it's just like, well, the people behind it, are they really like as trustworthy? I mean, is that kind of revolution not just, again, manipulating the poor and downtrodden to get their own gains? And it's just a really interesting look at that kind of mentality.
When people are cheering on Booker DeWitt, the hero of the rebellion there, and you're walking through the streets and they see you and it's like, you need to be dead.
Yeah,
because if you're alive, then you're not a martyr anymore.
You no longer fit the narrative. And again, that ties
then
into
you really have no friends.
Exactly. And that all ties into just how many times this has happened, because it's one of those things. You look back at what the Lutesses are doing, and they have that scoreboard of number of times that coin has been flipped. That is whatever, 122 times that they have tried this with different bookers to try and force a different result to bring down Comstock and Columbia and what have you. You are not the first Booker DeWitt to have played this game.
Yeah. And when you realize that, it's, again, you start to pay more attention to what's going on with the Lutesses.
Exactly.
At first, I just kind of ignored them. Now, something I never got was the bird in the cage. At one point, you're on Battleship Bay, you're on this beach, and you run into the Lutesses again with Elizabeth, and they get you to pick a brooch for her, or a neck choker, or whatever you want to call it. You get a choice between a cage and a bird. Now, I always pick the bird because I never found any difference in it. Like, do you know of anything, Alan?
No, I don't think there's
anything.
As far as I know, there is no difference, and that's the point. It's just like, it's kind of riffing on the fact that this is kind of all predestined. It doesn't matter what you choose. There are what do they say? Constants and variables. And it's just like, all of those little choices, they're the constants. But the true variables are, I guess, just the people. And it's, again, kind of meta. It's just like choices that don't mean anything. And maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, somebody please let me know. But it's just, it doesn't really matter. Just like it doesn't really matter which side of the coin you choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always going to end up in the same place. Yeah. Because we all want Elizabeth to be free.
That was my reason. It's like, well, she should be free. Have a bird. Don't
have a bird
stuck in a cage.
That's it. I mean, what else is there? I mean, we've talked story. Obviously, graphics wise, this game is stunning. There's no denying it. I mean, I would argue that
the lighting on this game, like when you first go into Columbia, and you have like the sunbeams like shining and everything is so golden and beautiful and pretty. I think that's what made me immediately fall in love with this game. And as you progress through it, everything becomes darker and dirtier and more downtrodden. And it's as if the world is tearing itself apart, which it literally is by the end of it. So
yeah,
graphics in this game, chef's kiss. Probably one of the best for its time.
Tear by tear, the world is just falling apart. And you're right, it just goes so just visual storytelling again, just so pristine and perfect, and by the end of it, like, the entire world is on fire, and it's fire. Do you know what I really like as well?
Something Sam pointed out that I actually never paid attention to or noticed is that the motorized Patriots changed from George Washington to Abraham Lincoln.
Yes,
that was
I
cool.
liked that.
When you go through one of the tears, that was a nice little touch.
Yeah. You know what? I never really noticed that. I mean, maybe it's my lack of familiarity with American presidents. I know of them, but it's not something I'm just gonna necessarily notice. I'm just like, well, that thing's got a big fucking gun. I'd best sort him out. But that is cool. That is very cool. Talking about faces, and again going back to characters like Elizabeth, like the expressionism on the characters' faces in this game, I just think are spectacular. Like, when Elizabeth is following you and she's happy, she looks happy. When she's pissed at Booker, she looks pissed. The
Yeah.
characters are all just wonderfully expressive, and it goes back to that thing that it just kind of looks like a very, very violent Disney film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
they
kind of
are
does.
very Disney-ish. The only thing that makes her not so Disney is she doesn't have a big, Disney mum ass.
Well, she's not. She's not a Disney mum. It,
Not yet.
duh. Oh God, Brian,
Once Brian gets into the Rule 34, she will be.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Let's hurry this up. I got stuff to do tonight. Wink.
Yeah.
music is again fantastic. I love all the little pockets. Fucking hell. I love all the little pockets of like modern day music you hear through the tears, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that a cappella version of God Only Knows literally lives rent free in my head.
I was
Yeah, there
looking
was
up
like
the. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, there was like a ragtime version of an '80s song too at some point. I can't remember what it was. I mean, I'm not going to do it justice, but there's probably a list of like songs that are featured as re-recordings. They must have had to get the license and then do an arrangement.
Yeah, no doubt.
I looked up the album because I was looking for songs for this episode, and I was surprised how many songs were covered. Like, here's a list of them: God Only Knows, Fortunate Son, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Tainted Love, Shiny Happy People, Goodnight Irene, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. There's a Cyndi Lauper version of that as well.
Oh yeah,
and
that
there's
was
a couple
fun.
orchestral songs. And yeah, it's just like the amount of licensed music in this game was surprising.
That is a good soundtrack
And-
as well. Just those tracks alone, I would listen
Yeah,
to
and
every
those are
single
all
one of those.
organ covers or different type of a cappella covers and stuff like that. Like it really does have the, what is it, like 1910 music style going on,
Yeah, and those that aren't
especially
in
right
that
from
style,
the main menu.
because you do get a few tracks that are just pretty much legitimately like the 80s versions that
Yeah.
you always kind of hear through tears, which just kind of implies that, through one of these, our world is out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's just kind of
Yep.
interesting. It's like it really gave you the sense when you hear like these old-timey renditions of newer songs. Usually it's like newer renditions of old-timey songs, but now it's like it's reversed. You really got the feeling that like time has collapsed on itself and doesn't really, it's just completely fluid.
Yes. Yeah. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yep.
Well, speaking of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, I mean, Brian needs to get to bed, I think. Or
Almost
other nefarious. Yeah, you see, needs his beauty sleep. Anyone got anything else to say?
No, I think it's
No,
time
I'm glad
to
we
wrap it
mentioned
up.
the music.
Yeah, definitely. I would have been remiss if we hadn't brought that up. Sam, since you're entirely the new guy, and I'm going to need time to recover after your review and score, why don't you go first?
Yeah, this game was fun. I just think I appreciated it for what the things we mentioned up top, like a little bit of added simplicity to the gameplay and the abilities and all that. The story was engaging. Despite the fact that the setting was fucking horrifying to me, whatever, it is what it is. What are we if we can't turn the lens on ourselves and really examine? So I think the game does a pretty good job of like taking not taking the easy path. Like they go through and there's some pretty rough stuff in there as far as, I guess we'll call it mild, like racist language, racist depictions of, old timey, stuff, so it's definitely got that vibe of like the brand new Gilded Age, but there's something sinister and scary underneath, which I think they did a really nice job of. I was definitely enjoying myself. I played it straight through without really stopping to play anything else. I mean, obviously took breaks to sleep and eat and stuff. But I think just in general, the gameplay and the linearity wasn't really a detriment. There was enough exploration there that I kind of like felt like I wasn't missing anything, but I was also able to see enough stuff as I kind of progressed through. That said, I don't really enjoy the combat we just came off of Fear, another first-person shooter, and I also played Heretic, which, those are three, very, very different first-person shooter games. But I just don't think I like the style of BioShock. I find it too frantic, where it's like I don't necessarily need bullet time, but I do need to see what the fuck I'm doing. And I think the graphical style of BioShock makes it kind of difficult sometimes to figure out what you're aiming at or who's shooting at you, because it's like they'll shoot and move and it's very brown on brown sometimes, where it's like you got a guy in brown fatigues running across a cobblestone road shooting at you. It's like, I can't see this fucker. I don't know, maybe it was the settings on my TV or what. I don't know. I felt the longer I played it, the less I liked the gameplay, because I felt like I was just getting ambushed from all sides. Which I guess isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just was I like to at least know what I'm getting into. What else? The powers were cool. The atmosphere of the game was cool. I like how it changed, obviously. I do have multiverse fatigue, and so this isn't the game's fault, but by the time I got to the end and I see that it's a multiverse of light towers, I was just like, fuck off. At this point, Marvel's done it, obviously it's Family Guy's done it, Rick and Morty has done it, everyone's done a fucking multiverse. I'm so sick of it, but that's not BioShock's fault. BioShock came before a lot of that other stuff, so I don't know. Yeah, multiverse thing I could take or leave. Some of the DeWitt is the Comstock is a little bit of a stretch for me. But I don't know, maybe I would play this again. I don't know. Generally I'd say it's a positive, but there are elements of it that are just too much like the original BioShock that I just don't care for. So I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10.
That was a long pause there. I thought we lost you.
I did.
I was trying to think. Well, I was trying to think. I think 6.5 is too low. 7's fair. 7 is a favorable score. It's it's not a bad game. It's just there are things about it that I don't like that I unfortunately can't be helped, because it's just the style of the game. It is, so
that is not as bad a score as I thought you were going to give the game. So yeah.
Right. I hated the final fight was fucking bullshit. I hated the final basically boss was fucking stupid. But
I love that.
I turned it down. I turned the difficulty down. I was playing on normal. I turned it down to easy just so I could finish it and move on.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame. The Brian.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I'm gonna be contrary to Sam here. From the moment the menu screen started and that after you've gone from 1918 song was playing and you kind of see a glimpse of what you're about to see in Columbia, and then you get into the game, and like I said, that moment you're into Columbia itself, I was kind of hooked on this game. And for me, the story, and I get the whole multiverse fatigue thing, but reality is it's an easy out. It's the new, what's it called, Deus Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Of storytelling, so we're gonna have to deal with it as long as we're paying money to go to the movies. And I found this was a more interesting multiverse story, because it wasn't really telling you no matter what you did, it was useless. It was kind of telling you it already happened, and no matter what you do, it's going to happen, and there's only one way to stop it. So for me, I really enjoyed the journey. This is one of the better stories I've ever played. And Alan, you said it. Elizabeth is just a gem of a escort mission or escort that you have to walk around with. She takes care of herself. You don't have to worry about her. For me, I love the combat in this game. I really enjoy the weapons. I find some space games, like some futuristic games, where every weapon's like a laser beam or some sort of pew pew thing, is just, it's not fun. So I was happy all these weapons were bullet based. For me, that just makes it a little more engaging. The plasmids, I dicked around with them, but reality is there's only one plasmid I kind of stuck with, and it is fun to take the possession aid and throw it at people and have them kill each other, and then after they are unpossessed, they kill themselves for what they've done. And that was always kind of funny to me, in a very morbid way. But yeah, gameplay, the music of this game, all the stuff you can kind of see and do as you're walking through. Not a lot of off the beaten path stuff. I didn't have as much of a problem with the color contrast as Sam seems to have had, but that's, I guess, just personal, you know, experiences. And again, I love that final fight. Again, it's not to be like, Sam, you're wrong. No, I enjoyed it because I use a sniper rifle, and on the PC I'm fairly good with the sniper rifle, so I was able to keep all the enemies at bay and really just push through it. And then like I said earlier, I love how it was an interactive ending, because it doesn't just jump into a cutscene and go to the credits. You play all the way up until the crescendo, and then it goes into the credits, and you're done this game, and you can sit back and take it all in. Not much. I don't even think there's anything I'm going to say negative about this game. It's definitely not a 10 out of 10. This is not the best game I've ever played, but it is going to be a high 9 for me.
I love it. Fantastic. 2 out of 10. I hated it.
Yep. Probably.
And that's all I got to say. No, of course I didn't hate it. I love this game. This is one of, if not my favorite stories ever told in video games. It's up there. It's maybe top 3. I adore this game. I adored it when I first played it. I adore it now. I'm never going to get sick of it. I mean, here's my controversial take, and if you don't like it, come and find me in the Discord or what have you. This is a better game than the original BioShock in every way. Thank you. The visuals are stunning. The setting is amazing. I mean, yeah, it's just, BioShock went down, BioShock Infinite goes up, but you still get that same sense of wonder and grandeur from this completely, well, almost completely alien landscape, because it's just like everything is so familiar, for better or worse, but at the same time, it's just like, this is so fantastic. It's like seeing Venice for the first time and just thinking, like, how is this even possible? The gameplay is smooth, it's fluid, it's so much fun just zipping around these basically arenas on skylines and just fighting enemies and using all those combination of weapons and using all of the different vigors and what have you. It's just, there are so many different ways to play this game. You could just go in guns blazing, you could sneak around, it's infinitely playable no matter what your style is. So as far as a first person shooter goes, I just think it's on point. Musically, absolutely fantastic. I love all the touches, all the nods to different eras, different times, and just imparting that sense of familiarity into you, that for a place that is just, again, kind of like our world but not. But for me, it's the story. I actually don't have multiverse fatigue, and I certainly didn't back in whatever it was, 2015, when I first played this game. I mean, that was kind of still a relatively new concept. And the twists and turns in this story and the character revelations are just fantastic. Just chef's kiss. Like, again, as I said, I had to sit and think about this for quite some time after I stopped playing. And that is the mark of a fantastic game. So often you play a game, you put it down and you just completely forget it. But no, BioShock Infinite lives inside my head, and it has done for the past 10 years. And Elizabeth, my beloved Elizabeth, the greatest, I mean, definitely one of the greatest video game characters of all time. Just so handy, so useful. And we didn't touch on this, but she was almost cut out of the game altogether, because she was so difficult to get to work that at one point they did just think about scrapping her. And then they decided to keep her in. Then they decided she was going to be a mute character, and all the characters were going to be mute. And it's just like, I cannot fathom the universe that is out there somewhere where that was a reality, and I don't want to go
does
there.
exist because of multiverse.
And it does exist, and I am glad that I am in this one with BioShock Infinite. And I've been trying to think of a way that I don't give this game a 10, and honestly, I am coming up with absolutely nothing. 10 out of 10. I can't think of a single thing I don't like about this game. Genuinely. I mean, Brian, I know you said, you're not going to give it a 10 because it's not the best game or your favorite game of all time, but it's definitely one of mine. It is up there in the upper echelons.
It's definitely up there.
I would recommend everyone play this game, and if you are, play the DLC as well. We didn't talk about the DLC, but that kind of brings the story full circle with the original BioShock, and I'm not going to say any more of that. I might do a quick play on it, though. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
I think you should.
But, I feel so much better now. I've been waiting to get that out for so long. Everyone, play BioShock Infinite. It is perfect.
Is that DLC part of the collection, the kind of newer collection that's out there?
Should be. It's called Burial at Sea.
Yeah, parts 1 and 2.
I'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, if it connects to the original BioShock, that's kind of interesting. I'd be interested to see how that works, but I don't know. Maybe
Elizabeth is the big mummy. If you don't believe me, search Elizabeth Rule 34.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yep, will do. Already doing that.
Well, thankfully, there is no, as of yet, Retrotopia Rule 34, but if you do want to find... Do we do this anymore? Fuck it, I'm going to do it. Linktree/Retrotopia for all the socials and Discords and all of that good stuff. Come and let us know why we're right or wrong, or play BioShock Infinite and then tell me why I'm right. I can promise you it's a good time. Sam doesn't, but I do.
That's fine.
And
not my favorite.
And that's all. That's it. Guys, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm pretty tapped.
Yeah. I think it's time to open a tear and slip off back home to whatever universe that we came from. And yeah. Until next time, guys, maybe don't go on any of the websites that Brian has recommended for you. We can't be held responsible for any consequences that occur. Hi there, everyone. We here at Retrotopia couldn't do what we do without the support of our Patreons. And to that effect, we would like to shout out our heroes at the hero tier. So a huge Retrotopia thank you from all of the hosts here to Andrew Wright, Wildcard, Unbuckled Cape, Makeshift Money, Sergeant Ombre, Randy Berridge, BCOS19, J Nasty 15, Chris Kaplane, Jack Datchler, Sir Busts-A-Lot, Big Kid 782, Super Dave, Big Brown Dog, Stud Still Smash, Fallen Snow Kiku, Radmac, Calin Hygus, Old Man Gamer, Raging Demon, Radioactive Hooli, Blue Shell Discharge, The Big Deal, Dylan Jacobson, Game Genius, H, Brother Retro, Shane's World, Ovindali, Brian Spritzer. So thanks as always for your support, guys. It truly means the world to us and means we can keep doing this little thing that we love so much. Game on.